Well, thank you again for doing this. This is actually going to be, I think, a pretty awesome interview. So it's pronounced Daoism, is that right?
CaoDai.
CaoDai. Caodaism. Cool. And
Yeah, and we use CaoDai. We do not use CaoDaism
okay,
because CaoDai is more a way of life and try to stay away from doctrine.
see. Okay, cool. And CaoDai originated in Vietnam in 1926, is that right?
Um, it originated in Vietnam, and people get confused with two dates, and I will make it clear for you. In 1924, the first disciple, Mr. Ngo Van Chieu, received the messages from God in the island of Phu Quoc. So 1924 was the first messages from God. And then 1926, the people that joined the new movement of CaoDai um, presented to the government at the time, which is a French government, for official recognition.
And then can you
So if you
explain?
so if you think of the original message, then it will be 1924. If you think of the official uh, recognition by the government, then it's 1926.
Great. Can you explain the foundational beliefs of the religion itself?
The foundation of belief is first, we believe that all religion come from one same divine source. God is uh, he sent different messengers through times and periods, but all messengers, like from Moses to Jesus to Mohammed to Buddha to Lao Tzu to Confucius, all messengers come from one same divine source. That's uh, the first thing that CaoDai teaches. The second thing, which is very important also, is all religion teach the same thing, love and justice. And all religions are here to help us have a peaceful life and also to liberate ourselves from reincarnation in the afterlife, to join the spiritual realm. And the third thing that CaoDai say is that God granted to all of us a spark of his divine spirit. Can you hear me okay?
I was nodding along.
Okay. So we all have a spirit in ourselves that is a spark of the divine spirit. And we call the divine spirit the great sacred light, and our spirit is the small sacred light. So we are all brothers and sisters spiritually. And
Mm,
because we have a spark of the divine spirit, we can cultivate ourselves in order to join the great sacred light of God. And we are all um, good to do that by ourselves and communicate with God directly, not having to go through an intermediary.
great. And for you personally, were you born into the religion or did you convert later on in your life?
I was born, well, I forgot to mention that my name is Dr. Hong Dang Bui, and I was born Buddhist. When I met my husband, Dr. Hồng Đắc Bùi, who is a Caodaist by birth, I joined CaoDai. And I enjoy joining CaoDai because of the breadth of teaching, the compatibility, the tolerance, and the inclusivity. It's a um, very generous faith. It teaches us that all religions come from one same divine source and are all good to practice. And it encourages us to learn from different scriptures. So I like it.
Mm. So you guys then don't have one certain book. You follow multiple holy books, I guess, whether it's the Bible, the Quran, or do you guys have
No,
your own?
CaoDai do receive messages from the above, and there are two main books that we use. Um, the collection of selected CaoDai holy messages. This is a translation that my husband and me have done from the original Vietnamese book. So we do, and this is like the Bible for CaoDai, because it's a collection of all the holy messages that came down at the beginning of the foundation of the faith. Let me see if I can find. Okay. This is how it looked like in the Vietnamese version. It's called Thánh ngôn hiệp tuyển. And we have another book which is called The New Religious Code that show how the hierarchy is made and the different administrative things.
And how do you guys characterize God?
Okay. God is one God for all. And in a message of April 7, 1926, God came down in a message and said, Dipankara Buddha is me. Sakyamuni is me. Thái Thượng Quân Thủy, or a previous life of Lao Tse, is me, who is CaoDai. And in a message of Christmas 1925, God said, rejoice this day, the 24th of December, the anniversary of my arrival in Europe to teach the way. So in other words, God said that he is Buddha, he is Lao Tse, and he is Jesus. God is viewed by the Caodaists as a benevolent, loving, supporting father, but who is also firm and just. So God told us, I am you, my children, and children, you are me. And what that means, I am you, my children, is because God gave us a spark of his divine spirit. And children are me mean we can cultivate, learn, improve, and join God again. And in another message, God said, it is certainly mysterious and miraculous that God and man are one. But God also say, child, if you don't choose to walk, I will not carry you. So there's God, but there's us. We have to make efforts in improving ourselves, in learning the scriptures, and evolve. God is there, but God wants us also to have an active part in our cultivation. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Forgive me if I misheard this though. Did you say that you guys do believe Jesus Christ is God?
God is the same as Jesus or Buddha. So all the messengers are messengers from God. So God is Father God, and God sent down messengers at different time and different places.
How would you address a skeptic that would say, does the mix of the messengers from God make for contradictions between the beliefs, since what they would have said, Muhammad versus Jesus versus Buddha versus Confucius, all these things?
It's very easy. If you understand that all these messengers are actually all from God, and if you understand that all the messengers try to teach people to have a peaceful life, a righteous life, then there's no contradictions. And that's the beauty of CaoDai, because as a CaoDaiist, I feel very comfortable to read scriptures from different religions and learn from different religions. And not only that, but God is everywhere, anywhere, and anytime. So I can freely go into a Buddhist temple or a Christian church or a mosque or a synagogue, and still I can worship God. It's just outside differently, but the inside, the higher realm is the same. It's just like you, today you're wearing a white and black shirt, and tomorrow you wear a red shirt, and tomorrow you wear a blue shirt, but David is still David. And also, when I talk to you, I see in you the image of Buddha, the image of Christ, the image of God, because you receive a spark of the divine spirit, and God is in ourselves. So right away, when I look at you, I have a spontaneous love, and I feel comfortable to talk with you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And then, so you mentioned the afterlife. What does the afterlife look for you guys? Because you mentioned reincarnation, uh, maybe some type of heaven. Do you guys believe in a straight set of paradise? And if there is a paradise, is there the exact opposite that exists for you as well?
Uh, Paradise or hell is inside of us. It depends on how our mind evolves. But if you want to hear a little more analysis, then we need to think that our body, as taught by CaoDai, our body are of three parts. The first part, the first body is the physical body, flesh in flesh, the anatomical body. The second part of us is our mind and emotions. And the third part of us is the spirit that we inherit from God. So the physical body is visible. The mind and emotion are semi-visible. And the spirit is invisible. And when we die, the physical body go into decay. The physical body has a responsibility to carry the second body and the third body in our cultivation to progress higher. Without our physical body, we cannot improve, because our physical bodies has adverse emotions like hatred, jealousy, fear, anxiety, and our mind and emotion and spirit teach for us to decrease those adverse emotions, to become more spontaneously loving and compassionate and pure. And when we die, like I say, the physical body will decay, but the second body, the mind and emotion, if we cultivate ourselves and become pure, that second body will join the spirit and ascend to higher realm. But if we don't cultivate and we do wicked things in our life, the mind and emotions are very heavy. It cannot join the spirit. It stay and will reincarnate to another life to learn. They have to come back, reincarnate, and continue to learn. Do I confuse you?
No, 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 that's good, that's good. And I also wanted to ask too, do you guys believe or recognize sin?
What do you mean by sin? Define for me sin, because I don't understand for sure what you mean by sin. We do recognize that people can be naughty, can be wicked, can be cruel, can have destructive behavior. And if those are sin, then yes, they sin. But do you have another definition for sin that I don't know?
Just any type of action that goes against God's will would be a sin from a person to do.
If a person is wicked and cruel and is destructive and bring unhappiness to other people, then of course there is that kind of sin, because God doesn't want that. God wants us to be pure, loving, and compassionate like He is for us.
Then how would one convert to religion?
To CaoDai?
Yes.
Okay. First, you have to recognize in yourself the teaching of CaoDai, which is God is the same God for everybody, and we receive a spark of the divine spirit from God. So we are a spiritual person, and then you can have a, initiation or gateway ceremony. There's a ceremony, and there are two Caodaists will present you, and they will chant many prayers, and you will pledge alliance. And then the ceremony, there's a priest who um, give you holy water on you, and you become Caodaist. But Caodai, as my husband and me understand, we don't require you to actually have the initiation or gateway ceremony, because if you are in um, a battlefield, you are fighting in a battlefield, and you feel God inside of yourself, and you commit to God, then there's no way we can have a ceremony there. Do you understand what I say?
Mhm.
Like if you are um, outside uh, uh, in the fighting field, the battlefield, and you start to believe that there is a supernatural um, world with divine presence, and you pray God because you are afraid of your life. You don't have to have a ceremony. You still can pray God. God is everywhere and for anybody, anytime.
And then, for you personally, what's your favorite spiritual practice in CaoDai?
Okay. Let me breathe a little bit.
Sure.
CaoDai has two main practices. One is the exoteric practice with ritual and prayers, and you go to the temple every week, especially on the 1st and the 15 days of the lunar month. And you also can do your prayers at home 4 times a day, 6 in the morning, noon, 6 p.m., and midnight. But most people cannot do all the 4 times a day because you are busy working and having a family and so on. So that's the exoteric practice. And the second practice is the esoteric practice. ESOTERIC, in which practice you mainly do meditation. You are alone or you can meditate with other friends, but you communicate directly with God during your meditation. And personally, my husband and me, we do both. We do both exoteric and esoteric practice, which means we do prayers, but we also meditate. And that way is called in Vietnamese phước huệ song tu. Phước mean like uh, cultivation by service. You are kind to people. You do service to other human being and to the universe. And huệ mean you cultivate your mind. And so by meditation to become purer and nearer to the higher realm. Song tu mean concurrent cultivation. You do both at the same time. So that's what we do. And I also, the other favorite spiritual practice is I also appreciate the plant-based diet that CaoDai recommend.
Oh, okay.
So that you don't kill. So you stay mostly with plant-based diet. And the third thing that I appreciate in CaoDai is I do not have to give up my Buddhism background. I still can pray the Buddhist prayers that I learned when I was young and embrace CaoDai because CaoDai is also Buddhism. CaoDai is also Christianism. CaoDai is like God above all. And so I appreciate that very much.
So you appreciate those, but I guess what would challenge you the most within CaoDai? What parts of it challenge you the most?
When I first come to the US in 1975, the main challenge is people do not even know what CaoDai is. They don't know what CaoDai is. And my husband and myself, we like interfaith. So we go and function with our friends Christian and our friend Islam and our friend Judaist, and we go into the circle of interfaith and we present to them the teaching of CaoDai, and they like it and they accept it. And Hum and me start to write books. We have quite a few books about CaoDai in English. We have books also in Vietnamese. And so more and more the interfaith circle accept CaoDai. And now they know what CaoDai is. And I still continue to reach out. The second challenge is that CaoDai is based on spiritism, which means there's a medium that receives messages from God, and the medium write down the holy messages from God, and that's how we have that book of the holy messages. It's also received by spiritism, and people may misunderstand and think that it's not reliable, because when we talk about spiritism, they assimilate it to the Ouija board. You know the Ouija board?
No.
Okay. It's a spiritism that is
A
practiced.
Ouija board?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes,
The
yes.
Ouija board. Okay. But in CaoDai, holy seances, they take it very seriously. And the person who received the message from God is selected among the purer person that is a vegetarian and believe in God and is a sincere. Sincerity is the basis of our faith. You have to sincerely believe in God.
Cool, cool. And are there any polarizing topics within CaoDai? For example, in Christianity, there's debates over if Mary was this divine figure or not, or predestination versus free will is another one. There's many debates within the Christian.
Talk a little slower. I can't follow you.
Sure, sure. I was asking if there's any polarizing topics amongst people within CaoDai. For example, in Christianity, we have debates amongst Christian circles whether or not a few things are true, whether it's if we're all predetermined to live, or if we have free will, or, for example, Catholics versus Protestants, we believe that Mary is not really this divine figure, but Catholics believe that Mary is more of this divine figure, specially chosen by God. So I guess I'm asking you if there's anything within CaoDai that people have a lot of arguments or debates about, if that exists. Nothing? Okay.
Yeah, I cannot think of anything that we have. We we cherish simplicity, purity, faith, and compassion and love and friendship.
So then it sounds like I assume there's nothing within CaoDai itself, no topic in it that you'd even disagree with or have any
Oh,
type of
there
disagreements with.
is, there is. Let me make it clear. Like I said earlier, there is an exoteric practice and an esoteric practice. And the exoteric practice, EXO, is mainly practiced by the Tainan people. Do you know Tainan? Tainan is the main city where CaoDai was very prominent. And the Tainan people practice mostly exoterism, and they don't believe in meditation.
Practice. What did you say? What do they practice?
Huh?
What did you say they practice?
Tainan, Tayninah, is a city
You
in
said
the
they
west.
practice. You said they practice exorcisms.
No, exoterism.
Okay. Okay.
Exoterism means they practice rituals and prayers, and they do not believe in meditation. But
Okay.
it's better now. They learn more and they understand more, and now they are doing. There are more people doing meditation because those people are afraid that when you meditate, you may go crazy. Did did I make it clear for you?
Good. Have
It's
you ever?
exoterism.
Yes.
Exoterism, which means practicing the rituals and the prayers and wearing different garments for different level of people. It's the other way of practice is esoterism, Esoterism. And esoterism, you do mostly meditation. You come back to your inner self and communicate with God inside of yourself after you quiet down your emotion. You sit still and you quiet down. Do I confuse you?
Makes sense. I was just taking it in. And I'm also curious, have you yourself, at least recently, ever had doubts that this was true, whether it was CaoDai in general or even a belief in God? Did you ever have doubts whether either of those things were true?
No, I'm very grateful for my experience, and I'm faithful, and I know that there is a divine presence. And even now, when I talk to you, I can receive vibrations from the higher realm. And I believe we all are destined to join God at some point in time with cultivation. We all progress to better and better life and higher spiritual level. We all go toward uh, improvement.
Okay. And then I'm also curious for you personally, have you ever had, I guess, it sounds like you had, like you even just mentioned the vibrations, but have you had a clear sort of supernatural experience that
Yes, I
was,
do.
oh, can you explain any type of story that you may have?
Oh, okay. Um, it was when my husband was driving uh, himself and myself to an interfaith meeting. And I was contemplating while he was driving. And I see the trees and the buildings when we pass by that they are alive. They have movement and they have vibration, and they reach out to me, and I can see those trees and buildings alive, and I feel like I'm one with all around me. I I definitely feel that, like right now when I speak about that, I receive a lot of vibrations in my head and in my body. Um, and I know that uh, I feel one with those. And then that experience repeated later also when I was meditating with friends, and we have a table in the middle with a cloth and uh, a light on the table. And I saw that the cloth become alive, and the print on the cloth was moving and dancing. And I feel the whole room is alive. And I feel also immense love to all the surroundings, to the inanimate object, because I believe that they also have a spark of the divine spirit. And if you go back to science and you think about it, everything has atoms in them. And the atoms are made of positive proton and negative electron. And the electron always move around the proton. So even in inanimate object, actually there's life in there. If you go back to science, science say that everything is made of atoms. And when you learn about atoms, you know that there is movement in there. But that movement may be not readily visible to the common eye.
Okay, very cool. All right, and then this one's gonna be also a little different, I think. But I think you mentioned spirits within the religion. So do you guys accept angels as existing, or even aliens as existing?
We believe that there are a great variety of spirits, and there are spirits that are lost, wandering, because somehow they did not have the opportunity during their life to cultivate and to understand the spiritual aspect of themselves, and they become wandering spirit. But we love them, we know that they are there, and we invite them to join us to cultivate. We are not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of them. Whenever I go somewhere, I uh, I send my love to all around, and to all the spirits, either low or high, and we invite them to join us in cultivation.
And do you guys also accept intelligent alien beings from different planets, so to speak? Is that a belief you guys can hold, or is that just something?
Yeah, it's probably true that there are other living things outside of our planet.
Do you think?
Because God is immense, and the more we learn, the more we know. Like we don't know about the little cells in our body, and we have trillions of little cells in our body, and all the cells are living units. And so beside us, beside the very little, there's the very large.
Interesting. Do you think it's possible if there's aliens and other planets, that some of them are already CaoDai? Or do you think CaoDai is only
I
strictly?
don't know.
That'd be kind of interesting. Maybe someone from Mars.
Maybe,
That's a
may,
CaoDai.
maybe, and maybe they are even higher in spiritual level than us. We just don't know. We learn more and more as we go.
Yeah, that'd be something. That'd be mind bending. But
Yeah,
cool, great. That's
yeah.
all the questions I had. But Dr. Hong, again, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. This is a very insightful conversation. I learned a lot about CaoDai.
Okay, good. Thank you for your interview, Devin.
No
Do you
problem.
want me to send any message to the person who see the interview?